The ultimate beginner protocol boils down to one thing. That's how do we get the highest amount of benefit for the lowest amount of bodily risk. I wish I would have had something like this when I started. If you're new to this page, I've spent the last 12 years experimenting on myself with all sorts of peptides, hormones, longevity treatments, everything about optimization. In this video, we're going to be covering what's worked for me, what's worked for the thousands of other people I've been able to help, as well as the biggest mistakes to avoid when you're first getting started. If you're not brand new and you're wondering, what am I still doing here? Don't worry, because I've got something for you too. In this video, I'm going to be uncovering a new thing I've been doing that I have not revealed in any other video. So stick around, and without any further ado, let's get into this video. Before we get started, it is important to note that I'm not a doctor and nothing I say in this video should be misconstrued with medical advice. And if you are going to follow through with any of the protocols that we talk about in today's video, please make sure you're only doing so under the direct supervision of a professional in this field. Now, let's get started. Welcome to the world of optimization. You're new to peptides, you're new to hormones, you're new to everything performance medicine. In this video, we're going to silence all of the guesswork, all of the bullshit that comes with this, because as you guys have probably seen, everybody and their mother has a different opinion about what is the right way to do everything. And the truth is, the number one thing you can do right now in the beginning is get that out of your head that there is only one way to do it, and you have to find the right guy that has the right information. Everything about performance medicine is about listening to your body and figuring out what works for you. Now, that being said, there's a really good starting point that we can go from that's going to give us the highest chance of success based on generalized science. In today's video, I'm going to be covering 5 different pillars about performance medicine and optimization. And if we can nail each 5 of these on the head, you're going to be caught up to about 95% of people in the performance medicine space. Jumping straight to the single most impactful thing you can do. If you're new to this page, I always jump to the number one thing right in the beginning. I don't make you sit around and wait for it. And number one, most valuable thing that took me the longest time to learn was get your blood work done first. This sounds rudimentary, but for a lot of people, this is what they end up doing years after they've started experimenting on themselves. When I say people, I'm talking about me. I was taking supplements, powders, not those kind of powders, injectables, you name it, before I ever got a blood work done, and it was the dumbest thing I ever did because I was supplementing for things I didn't even know if I needed. If we were just to listen to every expert on the internet who tells us this product is great, or you need to be taking this because it's going to help you with this benefit, we would end up on 1,000 different things before we ever really knew what was working for us. Where the far smarter approach, the one that saves way more time, the one that saves way more money, is get the blood done first. Just look for the biomarkers that are important for anything regenerative and performance medicine, and then only supplement with what your blood tells you you could use improvement on. Crazy concept, but up until recently, this actually was a crazy concept. Most people had never got their blood work done, and we're just kind of flying by whatever Johnny on Instagram told us we should take. Again, I'm not talking down on these people. I was that guy. I'm trying to save you guys the time and especially the money so you don't have to make the same mistakes. If you want to learn what should be in that blood work, at least at a baseline, if you're going to do anything in this realm, I have a video I've already filmed that tells you exactly what biomarkers to make sure you're getting checked. If you're going to go through any different blood work company or different provider, I'm going to link that video in the description for anybody to watch so that you know exactly what to ask for. Once you go get those biomarkers done and you know exactly what to supplement for, not just the regular biomarkers that are on a routine blood work, that's not really going to help you. You need one that's constructed by someone who's been in the optimization realm for a while. Again, I have the video for it. Go watch it. It's free. You guys are looking to be in peak physical and mental condition like myself, as well as you're looking for the longevity side of it. So how do I look amazing and live into old age while being healthy, mobile, athletic, all the things that we're looking for? This is why I always tell people it's really important to work with a specialist in this field, not just the local hormone clinic or the local doctor or whoever. It does really help to get somebody who's got some expertise. Again, I tried to do it myself and work with the local docs for the longest time. Even the guys in the hormone clinic, I ended up getting some really crap advice, and I'll save you the story on that. But the biggest crap advice I got, and what moves me into section number 2, is almost everybody is going to need some sort of hormonal help. Now, if you go get your blood work done and your testosterone is over 800 nanograms per deciliter, you're most likely in the clear on this. But for those of you who are not, here's what I would do. Well, depending on how low those levels are, especially for people who have dropped below 400 nanograms per deciliter, most people in this spot, I would typically say something like TRT is probably your most viable option. And that's going to be exogenous hormones that is going to shut off your own production and is going to replace it with exogenous testosterone. Now, some really cool things start to happen here, but it's important to do this safely and correctly. Working with a medical provider that is going to adjust your dose based on what your blood results are saying on routine lab work. Testosterone comes with amazing benefits. It completely changed my life and it made me who I am today in terms of everything from muscle development, confidence, the way that my body processes food and nutrients, the sleep that I get, the way that I make decisions, the decisiveness, everything about testosterone has made me feel amazing, and it makes you feel like more of a man. And unfortunately for a lot of us in today's day, we don't know what what that feeling is like because we've never truly felt what corrected hormones are like. This is why I make sure it's such an emphasis that you go get the blood work done, because for a lot of you guys, you're going to find that your testosterone is much more suppressed than you thought it was. Again, if it's not, good for you. This section is not for you. Move on to the next part. Now, for you guys that fall in the middle from anywhere from that 400 to 800 range, which you would think is the most common range, but it's actually more uncommon than the guys who are lower than 400, meaning that there are more guys sub 400 than there are above 400. Absolutely crazy, I know. For those of you that have been blessed and are above that 400 range, I would look at something closer to Enclomiphene. Enclomiphene is an oral supplement that increases your own production of testosterone. So it doesn't turn off your ability to make your own testosterone like exogenous hormones do. It actually just increases the signal from the pituitary down to the testes to have you produce more of your own. It's more of a natural approach to it. Also, unlike TRT, it makes no difference on fertility. In fact, it drastically increases your fertility. So make sure if you are married or with a girlfriend, make sure you don't end up causing any accidents. We've been seeing insane results off Enclomiphene, especially over the last several years. The whole purpose of the drug was only to ever increase people's testosterone by 50%. If we were lucky, we would get to 100. So if somebody was at 400, we were really just trying to get them up to 600 or 800 at the very best. What we're seeing now is everybody's internal hormone connection is so disrupted from things like microplastics, xenoestrogens, pesticides on our food, all of the powers that be, that a lot of those pathways have become so blocked and clogged. When they get opened and expanded for the first time, we're seeing 2-3x's in testosterone that we can prove with track record. The most insane success story of this I've ever seen with documented blood work was we had somebody start at 150 nanograms per deciliter that got up to 900 on Enclomiphene. Those two have been what I've seen to be the most effective. A lot of people ask about Kispeptin, HCG. Those are okay things you can add in. My personal favorites are going to be TRT and Enclomiphene. Speaking of suppressed hormones, section 3 is going to be something to increase your IGF-1. Now, don't go crazy on this. This is not something where I'm saying to go blast growth hormone or shoot your IGF levels up crazy high. I'm just saying some minimal support can go a really long way, especially for a lot of us who have been suppressed due to our external factors. If you're unfamiliar, IGF is the only way that our body actually generates new muscular tissue. When this is suppressed, it makes it very difficult to put on muscle or lose fat at any sort of acceptable rate. And a lot of people get frustrated with this because they're wondering, man, I feel like I'm exercising enough, I'm eating enough, I'm doing all the right things, but I just can't seem to get in the shape that I'm looking for. It's usually a suppression of either your testosterone or your IGF or both. With optimal IGF levels, we find our insulin sensitivity becomes way more acceptable for things like muscle development, for things like fat loss. Insulin sensitivity is going to be the way that our body processes the nutrients that we're feeding it. Are those nutrients, especially carbohydrates, going to fat stores because our body is holding on to them for dear life? Or is our body saying, give me those carbs, I'm going to take that and turn it into energy, I'm going to turn it into muscle, I'm going to turn it into output? Unfortunately, for many people today, their bodies are trained to say, if I get any nutrients from you at all, I'm taking it and turning it to fat because we are in a protective state and I don't know if we're going to survive. Now, here, I cannot stress this enough. It is very important to start in a very low dose when it comes to anything that's going to raise IGF. My personal favorite in this regard has always been tesamorelin ipamorelin blend. It's a blended peptide. Both of them focus on growth hormone in two different pathways. One of them is a growth hormone releasing hormone. One of them is a growth hormone releasing peptide. Two sides of the same coin. When they're blended together, they get a very synergistic effect that requires a much lower dose of both of them. If you go online and you look at the recommended dosing of tesamorelin, it's going to tell you need 2 milligrams a day, which is a way overdose in my opinion. And I think a lot of peptides are aggressively overdosed. Some are also aggressively underdosed. We'll get to that later. But I think it's very important that people start low. I got incredible results when I was doing something as low as 0.5 milligrams of tesamorelin mixed with 0.25 milligrams of ipamorelin. And I did that Monday through Friday. What's incredibly important in order for this protocol to work is you need to do this fasted. If our body has food processing, specifically glucose is the worst of the worst for this, it is not going to let that growth hormone pulse, and that insulin spike that's coming from the food you just ate is going to block the growth hormone pulse. This is where everybody messes it up, and it's the reason they don't get anywhere close to the results that they should be, and they say, oh, this stuff didn't work for me. No, you just didn't give it the right chance. If we know that we can't have food in our system in order for this to work, why do people insist on taking this at nighttime? Yes, there is science to back up that it gives you better rest and better sleep, but unless you plan on stopping all your food at 6 p.m. every single night and not taking this peptide until 10 p.m. every single night, you're still going to have food digesting. Heaven forbid you're on a GLP-1, you got to stop at like 4 p.m. because you're not going to digest anywhere close to in time. It's so much more logical to take this in the morning after you've now been fasted for at least several hours. It's also super important to stay fasted for at least an hour, but if you can get 2 or even 3 hours fasted after you've taken it, you will see insane maintain fat loss results, as well as you'll be able to keep those muscle developments. Growth hormone, secretagogues, and testosterone are the only two compounds besides anabolic steroids that I have ever seen that can both produce muscle gain and fat loss at the same time. It is incredible, it is unbelievable, and when it's done correctly, it can be the most useful, safe way to change our body composition. Now, before we move on, I will warn you about overdoing it. This is a tale as old as time. People get a little bit of results and they're like, oh, I want more. I want them now. I want them faster. And they end up raising the dose and they end up getting all sorts of problems. And this is what I should absolutely advise against more than anything. How do you not get addicted to those results? Well, it's really simple if you know one thing. The results you see in the first couple months are not going to be what you see after that. It's going to start to change. A little bit of something good is great. A lot of something good can be dangerous. Section number 4 is going to be something cellular. Guys, I cannot tell you enough how incredible this discovery has been for me, especially over the last 12 months. Getting into your cellular health will be the single biggest driver of the way you feel, of the way your body functions, and especially of longevity that you will ever do. If you don't know, everything in the body, whether that be our muscles, our organs, our eyeballs, our ears, all of it are made from cells. Each of those different cells and all of the parts of our body is being given specific instructions, and it's only able to translate those instructions if it has enough cellular energy to convey the instructions that it's been giving. Here's where it gets really important to work with specialists, because no doctor is going to tell you this, nor are they going to understand it, because it's not taught in medical school, and it's not something that they can just prescribe a pill for that is going to keep you coming back. That's how I've begun to gauge what the most effective things are. Not just how do I feel, but what are the things that make me not need other drugs or other prescriptions. For example, what's easier for a doctor to prescribe? A liver medication, a kidney medication, a gut medication, a heart medication? Or on the optimization side, we say, why don't we just make all of those cells function at the highest level and they will do their job to the degree that they need to do, and you won't need all those different medications. Now that's more on the longevity side, and some of you might care about that, some of you might not. For those of you that are saying, hey, how do I use this right now to get an edge, to get an advantage? That's why I'm here. That's why I'm watching this channel. I want to know, how do I become the elite human being? Well, don't worry, because the answer's here in that too, and that is ATP. ATP is our cellular currency. Everything that we do, from exercising to using our brains to even sleeping, requires ATP. Good way to think about it is that every function of the body has a price tag associated with it, and how much ATP you have tells you how many of those functions that you can afford. Well, just like anything, there's upgrades you can make on each of those expenses. All of that cellular expenditure that you've been draining out of your body, putting it into bankruptcy, let's put a little walking around money in your pocket and make sure you can do what you need to do. Just those three things, between testosterone, IGF, and cellular energy, will make the single greatest impact on the body for most people. Again, everybody's body is different, but those three things have made the single greatest impact on me and my life, as well as thousands of other people I've helped. Which brings me to my next point. If you are somebody who wants help, if you want help getting the right blood work done, the right products, the right sourcing, how to use them, I made a company, it's called otmens.com. Like I said, it's really important that you guys go through a specialist, whether it's me and my company or someone else. That part doesn't matter as much for me, but I wanted to make a resource available for anybody who wants to get into performance medicine and wants to skip the guesswork and honestly most of the damage that I ended up doing to myself, trying to learn this from people that didn't know what they were doing. The website is otmens.com. You're free to use it. You're free to not use it. Anyways, let's get back to the video. Step 4 is a quick one, and that is basic supplementation. The blood work is going to reveal everything about supplementation that we fix, but I will say some of the most common ones that help nearly everybody are going to be the following. Vitamin D, almost everybody's deficient in it. It's crucial for our bones, our hormones, and almost everything in the body. Magnesium, incredible, especially when it comes to sleep. Omega-3s, which are going to be crucial when it comes to inflammation management. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Inflammation is the death of all functional medicine. Anything positive we want to affect in our body, inflammation is usually what's causing the negative. Zinc, also incredible. Also, almost everybody is deficient. Again, incredibly essential for our hormones, as well as our overall mood and testosterone. The last one I think is beneficial to almost everybody, I think almost everyone should be on, is creatine. Creatine, yes, it's good for saturating our muscles and keeping them pumped, but it's also really good for the brain, especially when we talk about that ATP, that energy. In the last section, section 5, I want to cover some of the biggest mistakes that will save you the most time and money if you can avoid them. Mistake number 1, do not go into health and wellness or functional medicine looking for a 3-month cycle of something or to try out health and wellness. You either commit to this or you don't. If it's not something something that you're ready to commit your life to, or at least a year, I wouldn't honestly go down this path. I certainly wouldn't do anything hormonal, because that fluctuation of going way up and then way down is likely going to end up causing more harm than good. Moving our hormones up and down like that is what happens in our teenage years. That's what causes acne. That's what causes sleep problems. I would avoid it. Mistake number 2 that I made, that almost everybody makes, is everybody starts their dose too high on everything. Same thing. Don't look for the results right now. I promise the results will look better if you're willing to get them slower. This is true for weight loss. This is true for weight gain. This is true for cognitive things. Anything in the optimization space looks better and works better if you get it over 6 months to a year, rather than trying to cram it all into 3 months. Yes, you can do it, but I would really implore you to go for the longer route. And what we found is the shortcut is the long way. Mistake number 3 is that none of these are going to cover up things like bad diet and lack of exercise. The basics have to get done. These are all just the cherries on top that are going to take you to the next level. You got to do the diet right. You got to do the exercise right. These things are just going to be the gas on the fire. A better analogy might be, you can't pour gas on a pile of logs and expect a huge flame. There's got to be that fire first. Look, guys, if you're interested in this kind of stuff and you want to improve yourself in any way, shape, or form, I post 2 videos exactly like this one every single week, where I'm talking about some way to improve the human body. Hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so that you don't miss anything we talk about going forward. And I will see you guys in the next one.